Hey gamers! If you're a fan of Souls-like games, then you've come to the right place. In this video, we're gonna talk about best Souls-like games to play in this 2024. I know some of you maybe disagree with my list, and that's okay. All I know, this game is a good games, especially who likes a challenge. But before we go into the list, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. Looking for amazing deals on games? Check out Instant Gaming. This site is your go-to for getting games at unbeatable prices, and it's super easy to use. You can search your favorite games for various platforms like PC, PS5, Xbox, and even Nintendo Switch. How do I obtain this excellent discount? It's simple. Just hit the link in the description, create your own ID, and start by your favorite games here. And once you make a purchase, you'll receive an activation code to redeem on your preferred platform. Plus, by using my link, you not only saves you some money but also helps me support this channel. Alright then, let's get back into the list. Have you ever played Code Vein? Code Vein offers a fresh take on the Souls-like genre by blending anime-style visuals with deep character customization. Here, you play as a Remnant, battling against the forces of the Queen while managing your need for blood to avoid becoming one of the lost. Code Vein shines with its flexibility. The ability to switch between blood codes or classes on the fly allows for endless experimentation. The anime-styled, flashy combat is paired with a core that's unmistakably Souls-like, complete with parries, backstabs, and challenging boss battles. While the world design and visuals might not match the grandeur of Dark Souls, the thrilling combat and cooperative multiplayer make up for it.
You're done.
If you're craving more of the Souls-like experience, Bleak Faith Forsaken might just be what you need. Bleak Faith Forsaken immerses you in a dark, intriguing world where exploration is key. The game's narrative is delivered through its environment, characters, and items you discover, creating a rich, mysterious experience. Of course, the combat provides a classic Souls-like experience with options for melee, ranged, and magical attacks. Each battle is a test of skill and strategy, enhanced by the game's impressive sound effects and music. The visuals may vary, but the game's atmosphere and boss design stand out. The difficulty of Bleak Faith Forsaken will test your patience and planning, but dying and learning from your mistakes is part of the experience. Fortunately, you won't lose your experience points upon death, which is a nice touch. If you like Souls-like games in side-scrolling perspective, then you should try Salt and Sanctuary. Salt and Sanctuary is a thrilling 2D action RPG that pays tribute to the Dark Souls series while carving out its own identity. The game's combat is intense and strategic, demanding more than just button mashing. You'll need to balance offense and defense, using tactics similar to those in Dark Souls. The game's mechanics, including rolling and shield use, are crucial for survival, and with experience, even the toughest bosses become manageable. This approach creates a satisfying experience as you learn to predict and counter enemies' attacks. The boss fights, starting with the Sodden Knight, are tough but fair, teaching you through trial and error. Wukong Fallen Dynasty delivers intense, stylish combat and a fresh take on the Souls-like genre. The game opens with a notoriously challenging boss fight against Zhang Liang, a brutal test that sets high expectations. The combat system focusing on parrying and breaking enemy stances. The deflect mechanics are straightforward, requiring precise timing rather than complex strategies. Wukong becomes more approachable compared to other Souls-like games. Most subsequent bosses are easier, often defeated on the first try. This shift can make the early difficulty spike feel out of place. The game also offers a range of aids to ease the difficulty, including AI companions and the option for cooperative play. Do you know Remnant from the Ashes was a standout game from the last decade, blending third-person shooting with a Souls-like atmosphere? With Remnant 2, the developers have built on those strengths and refined the experience, delivering a game that improves upon its predecessor and stands out in the genre. The standout of Remnant 2 is undoubtedly its gunplay and gameplay. The game has shifted from the procedural generation of environments to more distinct and memorable content. These worlds are visually stunning and come with their own storylines, side quests, and mini-dungeons. Exploring these areas can lead to unexpected rewards and creepy encounters. Blasphemous 2 is a gripping journey through a grotesque and mesmerizing world. This game sticks to the classic Metroidvania formula but does so with a unique, eerie twist. From the get-go, you'll be slicing through stunningly creepy 2D environments filled with nightmarish monsters and tackling platforming challenges that require precision. The game builds on its predecessor by diversifying gameplay with new weapons and platforming challenges. Unlike the first game, which focused mainly on combat, Blasphemous 2 incorporates platforming and puzzles, using its arsenal of new weapons like the War Sensor, which reveals hidden paths, and the Praying Blade, which destroys enemies and obstacles alike. What really makes Blasphemous 2 stand out is its disturbing art and story. While the story can be complex and unsettling, it's deeply immersive if you're willing to stick with it. GRIME, have you tried this one? GRIME is a fascinating Souls-like Metroidvania by Clover Byte. Unlike most Souls-likes game, GRIME doesn't punish you by making you lose your souls upon death. Instead, you lose a currency called a door, which affects how much you gain from kills. This makes the game feel less punishing, though you'll still need to manage your limited healing abilities carefully. Absorbing enemies is a standout mechanic where you absorb enemies with a black hole-like head. Timing your counterattack allows you to absorb enemies, which can restore your healing ability and unlock passive skills to customize your playstyle. GRIME also introduces hunt points, which are earned from defeating larger enemies. These points help you unlock abilities to tailor your playstyle. Another Crab's Treasure is a unique and refreshing take on the Souls-like genre, trading dark themes and gritty violence for a colorful underwater world filled with cartoon crabs and lighthearted humor. You play as Krill, a hermit crab on a quest to retrieve his stolen shell. The story is surprisingly cool enough, with memorable characters like Conche, a wise mentor, and Firth, a cocky rival. The combat is more accessible than in most Souls-likes, with fewer complex mechanics and more lenient timing for parrying. While this makes it less challenging, the fun and creativity of the enemies and bosses, like a crab with utensils tied to its body, keep things fresh. Plus, the shell-swapping mechanic allows you to customize your abilities, like rolling as a tennis ball or casting spells as a soda can. Lords of the Fallen is a fresh reboot of the 2014 title, marking a bold attempt by Hexworks to revive the franchise. It's a Souls-like filled with bosses, engaging combat, and a wide range of customization options. The combat is fast-paced and satisfying. Whether you're wielding light weapons for agility or heavy ones for brute strength, the game nails the feeling of impactful strikes and the thrill of dodging. The wither mechanic and refined blocking system keep fights dynamic, while the magic system simplifies spellcasting, making combat feel fluid. Speaking of levels, this is where the game stumbles. Later areas are packed with ambushes and enemy clusters, sometimes leading to overwhelming encounters. The difficulty spikes in exploration clash with the relatively fair boss fights, making it feel like you're playing two different games. Hollow Knight has earned a reputation as one of the most challenging indie games out there. It's a tough, side-scrolling Metroidvania that rewards persistence and skill. I know some of you maybe not agree if I put this title in the Souls-like genre, but I think Hollow Knight's supposed to be here. Because Souls-like games typically have a high level of difficulty where repeated player character death is expected and incorporated as part of the gameplay, losing all progress if certain checkpoints have not been reached. The way the story is presented is very similar to how Souls does it, as is the overall feel and theme. Mute, player insert, Chosen One is dropped into a world that is in rough shape and is in some way rotting away. If you never played Hollow Knight before, I recommend you to play this one, as one of the best Metroidvania ever. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is a thrilling sequel that builds on the success of Fallen Order. Set years after the first game, you once again follow Cal Kestis, now a more seasoned Jedi. The story digs deep into the balance between light and dark, showing how even good intentions can lead to morally gray decisions. Combat is fast, fluid, and gives you total control with 5 different lightsaber stances, each offering its own playstyle. On top of that, the platforming and traversal have been greatly improved, making exploration smoother and more fun. You'll still be swinging across gaps and running on walls, but it feels more natural and less clunky than before. Plus, the customization options are plentiful. You can change Cal's appearance, lightsaber parts, and even collect cool Star Wars-themed gear as you explore. Nine Souls is an action-packed platformer with a mix of fast-paced combat and exploration, set in a beautifully hand-drawn world. It blends cyberpunk elements with traditional East Asian aesthetics, creating a unique atmosphere. The gameplay is heavily inspired by Sekiro, with parry-based combat that requires timing and precision to defeat enemies. Players explore a mysterious land, uncovering hidden lore and secrets while engaging in challenging battles against powerful foes. I think if you Souls-like fan, this one you should try. The combat is smooth, fast-paced, and you can deflect enemy attacks, making addicting game to Souls-like fan. Nioh 2 is a standout in the realm of Souls-like games, blending intense action with rich customization and a uniquely Japanese mythological setting. While many imitators falter, Nioh 2 excels by blending its influences with Team Ninja's signature style from their brutal action titles like Ninja Gaiden. One of the most interesting aspects is its combat system, which combines fast-paced, combo-heavy mechanics with a stamina or ki system. The game's stance system allows each weapon to have multiple movesets, giving players a wide variety of combat options. This dynamic system ensures every encounter feels exciting, making you feel both powerful and vulnerable at the same time. Lies of P takes the classic Pinocchio tale and twists it into a dark, gothic adventure. Set in the ruined city of Krat, where machines have risen against humans, you play as a puppet named P, fighting through a world full of dangerous automata and twisted enemies. What makes this game stand out is its deep combat system, which lets players mix and match weapon parts to create their own tools of destruction. Whether you want a slow, heavy-hitting greatsword or a fast, precise spear, the choices are yours to experiment with. On top of that, P's mechanical upgrades, called Legion Arms, add even more versatility to combat. The game's atmosphere is rich and eerie, with stunning visuals and haunting music that match its gothic, industrial setting. And, like any good Souls-like, the bosses are punishing but rewarding to conquer. Black Myth Wukong is an action RPG that beautifully blends elements from Souls-like games and classic adventure titles. Set in a world inspired by the classic Chinese novel Journey to the West, you play as a reincarnated monkey warrior, Wukong, who must fight mythical creatures to reclaim his lost glory. Combat in Black Myth Wukong is dynamic and satisfying. You'll use a staff and a variety of spells to fight. The game system lets you switch between different stances and use powerful spells freely. This makes combat not only stylish but also flexible, catering to different playstyles. If you enjoy challenging fights against mythological creatures, but want a bit less difficulty than typical Souls-likes, this game hits the mark. Its standout feature is its slick presentation and generous gameplay. For honorable mention we have
I wonder, by the time we breach Sacrament's gates, will anyone be left inside?
And that's it for today. What do you think about this list? Did we miss any of your favorite Souls-like games that you think should be on this list? You can tell us in the comments section below. So, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to this channel if you don't want to miss another great list. And as always, thank you for watching. See you in the next video.